Hi, this is Don Kedal with another Israel Report, and today I'm reporting just here in the capital of Jerusalem, just outside here. I'm in the city of Jerusalem today, and I wanted to report to you about what's been happening lately concerning this whole issue with the UNESCO and the Israeli pushback and reaction to that, and so on and so forth. And so the bottom line is this. Israel, since 1967, has given up its right to the Temple Mount and really also to the Western Wall by not claiming either one of the two as a Jewish holy site, by stating that claim, by making it clear, by declaring to the international community around the world, via our politicians, via our ambassadors. There's different ways that you can communicate as a nation what your policy is, what your heritage is in a certain place, and so on and so forth. And so what Israel has done, in essence, through our lack of claiming and stating a claim to a specific place and to a specific area that really is holy to us as a people, be it the Temple Mount, which really in Judaism is the most holy place anywhere in the world. There is no place in the world that's holier to Israel. Only here in Jerusalem, only here on the Temple Mount, is there any relevance to Judaism as a whole. In fact, all of Israel is a holy place to us. Because this is our heritage, this is our history, this is where we came from, this is where we were exiled to the nations from, and this is where we've returned as a people. This is where our language has been restored. This is where people as a whole have come back to the Torah. Where we're starting in Israeli society as in large are starting to be more Torah observant, more Jewish in our practice, in our life, because we're back to the place that makes us who we are. This is the place that makes us who we are, which is Jewish and God-fearing. The connection to this place is the God of Israel, the land of Israel, and the people of Israel. This is what makes Israel Israel. And by us relinquishing our right to the Temple Mount in favor of a religious system like Islam that is destroying the earth as we see, and I'm not talking about Muslims, okay? Because most Muslims, thank God, are not living up to the Quranic teachings, which is to divide and conquer, to take over the world in the name of Islam. And that's deadly, that's lethal. This is a very lethal religious system that is destroying the world. And we as Jews who have come back to our land, by allowing this religious system to have dominance on the Temple Mount, what we're doing, in effect, we're relinquishing our right to the Temple Mount, and we're allowing the international community to fill in that gap, to fill in that void that has been created because of us. We have created the gap. We've created that vacuum where they have fit in and said, fine, so this is a holy Muslim site. And they're right to say so. And so that's just to talk about the reason behind this. UNESCO, they're not stupid. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. We're the ones who have created that vacuum for UNESCO to come in, and that is dominantly controlled by Muslim nations. That's why a lot of these bullying takes place at the United Nations, is because it's a Muslim dominant voting bloc. And so these Islamic nations are filling the void that we have created, filling that gap that we have created through our lack of voice, through our lack of stance on these issues. So thankfully, because of this, it's actually caused the Israeli nation, the Israeli people, to unite from both the far left to the far right and everything in between, to actually come out and say, this is a Jewish holy site, which is radical, because up until now, specifically the left has been appeasing the Islamic rule on the Temple Mount and throughout everywhere in Israel, and just saying, no, let's just get along, and they have a right to, and that whole spiel of let's just get along, multiculturalism and religion, and it's all good and happy and fine, and it's not. Look at Syria, it's not. Look at Lebanon. It doesn't work. Religions are not meant to coexist together, because If you have a completely different mindset, a completely different religious system, it doesn't work with someone else's, usually and typically, which is why you have to have a society that is ruled and governed in such a way that protects and allows the freedom of worship, the freedom of expression of religion, and so on and so forth, so that there isn't a dominant religious system that is just completely trying to take over the others. And that's what happens here in the Middle East. This is not the West. This is not where democracy rules and reigns. And in fact, the only place is here in Israel. To the farthest point where it's actually come to our hurt. To the extent that we have shot ourselves in the foot by allowing our Western thinking to influence our way of dealing with the Islamic entities here in the Middle East that are pushing back against us and our right to this land, into the Temple Mount, and to our existence here in the land of Israel. So this is really just to give you guys a little bit of understanding of what is going on with this whole thing with UNESCO, and to give you a little bit of a background behind it and what is really allowing that to take place, and that's us. So what really needs to happen is a nation as a whole, our nation as a whole, the nation of Israel, needs to start to state our claim for the Temple Mount. And that's why we started up the movement Cry for Zion, in order to push back towards the Israeli government and say, we need to declare Jewish sovereignty on the Temple Mount in order to fill in that gap that has been created, because we notice that. We notice immediately that if we don't make a stand, that the Muslims are going to push back, and they're going to push back. They're going to use the United Nations. They're going to use European Union. They're going to use the United States. They're going to use all of these big nations around us who have influence and who have political strength to take what is ours, what is our holy place. So this is Don Kedal reporting from Jerusalem. Thank you for listening. Shalom. To help keep our videos free, donate here. To subscribe to our YouTube channel, click here.